Okay. I'm going to share. All right, everyone see my book?
Yes.
All right. Introducing North America, by Chris Oxlade. So about North America. So like we were saying, it's one of the world's 7 continents. Continent is a huge area of land. North America is the 3rd largest. And it stretches almost from the equator in the south to the Arctic in the north. So the equator is this line that kind of splits our Earth in half here. And it's really warm along the equator. North America sits between the Atlantic Ocean in the east and the Pacific Ocean in the west. So we can see here, here's the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. North America is connected to the continent of South America by a narrow strip of land, and this is called Central America. So here we see, and we'll look at a map closer, but North America is actually connected to South America by this thin little strip. And you can't see it here. Another thing to note, so when we look at a map that's all flat like that, we can't really tell that actually, if you look at a globe, the edge here of Asia is very close to the edge here of North America. And it was connected at one point in what they called the land bridge. So that's why the very first peoples that lived, in Africa. That's where the origin of people lived. And then they moved up. There were people that migrated up to Asia, and then they walked across the land bridge to North America. And that's how people started to get spread out. So, okay. So I'm not going to go through. There's about 542 million people that live in North America. And there are 23 countries. The highest mountain is Mount McKinley, and the longest river is the Missouri River at 2,341 miles. There's some little facts for you. We have some famous places here in North America. There's the Grand Canyon in Arizona. So it is 277 miles long. There's Niagara Falls and Yellowstone National Park. If you go to Mexico, there's famous buildings. There are pyramids built about 500 years ago by people called the Aztecs. We have modern buildings that include the CN Tower in Toronto, Canada, and the Hoover Dam in the United States. So up here, there's a caption, we've got some text features that go with our photograph. So this is the Pyramid of the Nichis in the ancient city of El Tajín in Mexico. All right, geography. So when we say geography, we're talking about the land and the water. So the largest mountain range in North America is the Rocky Mountains in the west. And so if you can see here, there, good, we can zoom in. So here's where our Rocky Mountains are in North America. It goes through Canada and a few states. On this edge, you can see there's the Coast Mountains, all right? There's the Appalachian Mountains over in the northeast. And then a few other places down here in Mexico. There's deserts. So all kinds of different land in North America. There are deserts in the southwest of North America, which include the Mojave Desert in California and the Sonoran Desert in New Mexico. The Great Plains is a huge area of flat land in the center of North America, and this is called a prairie. So I'm from Kansas. Most of the land in Kansas is prairie and plateaus and just flat land. Now there are 5 huge lakes along the border between the United States and Canada, and they are called the Great Lakes. So Lake Superior is one of the Great Lakes, and it's the world's largest freshwater lake. Does anybody know what that means when we say freshwater? Kai?
Freshwater lakes.
What does that mean when we say freshwater? So freshwater means, so our other type of water is salt water, which is like the ocean. So freshwater doesn't have salt. Yeah.
The one
So-
is the freshwater means like the water doesn't have any salt,
Exactly.
like the ocean.
Right. So the life that lives in like the ocean, they need salt water. You can't just take some of the fish and just stick them in the fresh water. They wouldn't survive, and vice versa, because those animals adapt to their environment where they're living. All right. I'm going to mute you there, Andre. There we go. So the Missouri is the longest river in North America. It is 2,000, whoops, sorry, didn't mean to go forward. It is 2,341 miles. It flows across the center of the United States and into the Mississippi River. The St. Lawrence River connects the Great Lakes with the Atlantic Ocean. So here after our reading, I'll show you there's a really cool website that I'll share with you that you can get on and you can explore different maps. And one of them is a map on the Great Lakes. I don't think it'll let me zoom in too much. Sorry. Well, I know it's kind of small, but there's a map and you can see those the blue area up to the top of the United States. Those are where the Great Lakes are. Okay. So the weather. So North America has many different types of weather. In the South, it is tropical. This means it is hot and there's lots of rain. In the North, it is very cold year round and there is lots of snow. So in the far north of North America, there are times during the winter when it stays dark all day, like in Alaska. Extreme weather sometimes strikes North America. I don't know why this, there we go. Hurricanes are giant storms. They bring powerful winds and heavy rains to Central America, the Caribbean, and the Southeast United States. Tornadoes also hit the United States. I lived in a state where there were, like Kansas has a lot of tornadoes. Sometimes we see tornadoes here in Missouri. So this is a picture of Hurricane Rita that caused flooding in Louisiana. So Louisiana sees a lot of hurricanes because of where it's located. All right, animals. So there's an amazing variety of animals that live in North America. There's polar bears that live in the far north and grizzly bears that live in the forests and mountains farther south. Bison live on the plains. They're also known as buffalo. And so here's a picture of a grizzly bear living high in the Rocky Mountains. So be careful if you go on a hike in the Rocky Mountains. All right, alligators. Yes, Andre.
Polar bears are my favorite.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. I know, polar bears are pretty great. So yeah, this, a lot of times like when we're together in the classroom and we can do this, you know, if you want to do some research, if something, that's part of why we like read about stuff together. So if there's something that you're like, ooh, I want to learn more about that. So we'll talk about that a little later. But
okay,
if you want to learn more about polar bears, that's awesome.
okay.
Alligators live in lakes, rivers, and swamps in the Southeast United States. There's hundreds of different types of birds that make their homes in the rainforests of Central America. So there's rainforests in Central America. Jaguars live in the rainforest too. So here's some.
What's a jaguar?
Well, a jaguar is a type of big cat. So, all right. So here's a picture of alligators that live in swamps called the Everglades in Florida. So there's a lot of swamp area in Florida. All right. Plants. Can you guys, you can still, thumbs up, you can see my book, right? All right, cool. Plants. So a giant plant grows in the deserts in the south of North America. It is the saguaro cactus. It grows up to 49 feet high. So the average human, when, you know, your parents are around like 5'5" to 6 foot, or sometimes taller than that. So about 6 feet tall. These things get 49 feet tall. So that's very tall. It survives on very little water. So if you want to go and see these saguaro cactuses, you can find them in the desert. This is a picture of a desert in Arizona. Now this next one, this is a picture. This is a place I hope that I will visit at some point in my life. So there are vast conifer forests in the north of North America. So conifer trees stay green year round. These are giant redwood trees that grow there too. They are the tallest trees in the world. They grow up to 367 feet high. So here's a picture of the enormous trees, the giant redwoods that are up in California. And so you can see how this person here, like how big that tree trunk is compared, and they just reach so tall. So redwoods are pretty fascinating trees. Thomas?
So fir trees are trees that can live all year round because they have those pine needles that can sometimes hurt people, but we went to the Ozarks and they had some pine, and we had some pine trees there, and the pine trees actually, we were roasting marshmallows on Friday, but they didn't turn out as well because it was really windy, and so I found some more pine needles, and then the fire got going.
Right.
And so the fire was too big for the wind to make it die down, and it went for a very long time.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you can build a fire from the pine needles. That's good to know.
Yeah.
All right, so the people. So American Indians were the first people to live in North America. And we also say the indigenous people. So there are many groups of American Indians all over North America. So people from all over Europe settled in North America too. We know about the people who came and colonized from Britain, France, and Spain. So this is a picture of Inuit people who live in the far north of North America, like in Canada. So most people in the United States speak English, but many people in Central America and Mexico speak Spanish, and many people in Canada speak French. American Indians often speak their own languages. So here's a picture from people from many different groups that live in New York City. So this is a picture of New York City here, which is a place I visited, but I definitely would not want to live there. Sports and culture. So baseball, basketball, ice hockey are popular sports in the United States and Canada. Football began in the United States, and the Super Bowl is the biggest game of the year. So you guys probably have heard of that, right? And we have baseball and hockey here in St. Louis. So this is a picture, a crowd is enjoying a Cincinnati Reds baseball game. Hollywood is in Los Angeles, California. It is the center of the movie industry in the United States. Hundreds of movies are made there every year. So popular music in North America includes country music in the United States and reggae music in the islands of the Caribbean. So here's a picture of a reggae band that's playing in the island of Jamaica. Okay, countries. So there are 23 countries in North America. The continent is made up mostly of 3 very large countries, which are the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. So if you look at the map of North America, the USA, Canada, and Mexico take up most of the space. Those 3 countries. So there's 20 other countries, though, in North America, and it's mainly down here in Central America and then the Caribbean. Oh, I guess it says that. Most of the countries in North America are islands in the Caribbean Sea, such as Cuba and Jamaica. Greenland is the world's largest island, but it is not a country. It is part of Denmark, which is a country in Europe. So we don't talk about this a lot, but Denmark was actually a colonizing country too. Something we don't really hear
I
about.
was in Denmark, Miss Brenda.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So maybe you visited some of these places we're talking about. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of a street in Havana, which is the capital city of Cuba.
There were skinny roads. There were really skinny roads.
Skinny roads in Denmark.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of people like bicycle in Denmark, right? Okay, cities and countryside. So New York City, Los Angeles, Mexico City, and Toronto are some of the cities in North America with the greatest number of people. Mexico City is the largest city in North America. Around 20 million people live there. New York is an important world business center. There's several million people that live in New York. So this picture is there are dozens of skyscrapers in the center of New York City. So that's a picture of New York. And then there are thousands of small towns in the plains of North America. Many people who live there are farmers who grow wheat and raise cattle. In Central America, most people work on small farms. They grow coffee, sugar, or bananas. So here's a picture of the main street in April, a town in Massachusetts. All right, natural resources and products. So natural resources are things that are naturally found in North America that may grow here that we may use. And then products are things that we make here that we use to live. So trees are cut down in the forests of Canada and the United States. The wood is used to make furniture, houses, and many other wooden objects. Oil and gas are found under the ground and ocean in many places. So this is a picture of an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico.
Miss Brenda,
Yes, Andre?
I got a question.
Yes?
Why do I see fire?
Well, oil is very flammable, meaning that it's very easy for it to burn. And so I don't know.
Fire and gas do not mix. It will explode.
Right. So I don't know if that's supposed to be like that. I don't know much about oil rigs. So yeah, I can't really tell you why that's on fire, other than I know that oil is flammable, but I think that happens sometimes on the oil rigs. It can be a dangerous place.
Is it a factory? It can be a factory. Sometimes they make flames of they sometimes use hot stuff to make metal.
Yeah, well, so this second picture here, this looks like a factory where they're making an airplane.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you see.
Yeah, that aircraft. Yeah.
Yeah. So North America has many different industries. That means like the airplane industry, that's, an industry where airplanes get made, and then of course we fly them all over the world. Cars are made in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Boeing airplanes are made near Seattle, Washington. Silicon Valley in California is the home of the US computer industry. So here's a picture of Boeing airplanes that are made in this giant factory. I've been in, I'm from Wichita, and there's a Boeing factory there, and my dad used to work there. And I remember when I was a kid, I got to go in the factory, and it looks just very much like this. These parts of the plane are out, and everybody has their certain job that they're working on too.
Was it actually like that much stuff?
It didn't seem quite this big. I mean, but I remember there was a place there where they were working on, like, it looked like this here to the right. And I mean, there were places where there were big pieces of the plane. Yeah, it might not have, well, it was pretty big. It looked a lot like this.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a few more fun facts. The Panama Canal cuts through the middle of the country of Panama, and it carries huge ships between the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. So it's kind of this like little shortcut that they can take right through instead of, because otherwise, if there wasn't this nice waterway, the Panama Canal, they'd have to go around South America. Oof, that would be very difficult. Tornado Alley is an area in the center of the United States where many tornadoes hit every year. So I used to live in Tornado Alley. I don't know if, I'm sure there's places in Missouri, but I don't think St. Louis is considered to be in Tornado Alley. Greenland is covered with a sheet of ice that is almost 2 miles thick in some places. So even though it's called Greenland, it's actually mostly ice.
My grandparents tricked me with that, but
That's ridiculously thick.
And Iceland is green.
And then exactly, and then Iceland is green. Who doesn't
Greenland
think?
is 1 mile.
And the Atlantic Ocean is freezing cold down to Fahrenheit.
Right?
once my grandparents asked me which one is cold and which one is warm, and I answered.
I bet that covered a house. All that snow probably covered a house.
Yep.
And I.
Oh, the warmest ocean.
Okay, wow. Lots of people are talking at once.
The warmest place I know that could sometimes be cold is California water. Their water is cool. I've been there before.
Awesome. Okay, guys.
I think how many times my tooth came out. That's how
Nice, Jace. Okay, so we need to focus back on this. Let's go ahead and mute ourselves. All right, so the Boeing aircraft factory near Seattle, Washington is the world's largest building. So there, that answers your question. That was maybe, did it say where this was? Yeah. If this is a picture in Seattle, then yes, it was bigger than the one I saw for sure. All right, a little quiz. Which part of North America is the biggest island in the world?
Greenland.
Greenland is the biggest island. Yes, you'll remember that it's considered an island. All right, what is the largest mountain range in North America? Who remembers that from the reading?
Rainforest.
Charlotte?
The Rocky Mountains.
The Rocky Mountains. Yes, please wait till I call on you. Who built the pyramids in Mexico? That was kind of towards the beginning. Who remembers that? You guys trying to peek at the answers? Thomas?
The Aztecs.
The Aztecs.
The Aztecs.
The Aztecs. And what is the world's largest freshwater lake? Do you remember that? Skipped so you can't see it. Remember we talked about the Great Lakes. Which one's the world's largest freshwater lake? Anybody remember?
Lake Super something?
Yeah, close. Lake Superior. So think it's Superior is the largest. All right. So that was our read aloud on North America. And now I'm going to show you real quick what our seesaw looks like. All right.
And that link?
Yeah, so I'm going to show you two things. I'm going to show you what the puzzle map looks like on Seesaw. There's a little video. Hold on, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Let me go to my library. Where is it? There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. So there's a little video of me. Oh. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. Something happened. Oh goodness. Something got messed up here. Okay. Well, I'm not going to be able to show you that, and I'm going to have to redo that. Oh, goodness. Ah. So don't do the, I'm going to have to delete the seesaw that I did in there and redo it because somehow something got deleted. And so sorry, I'm not going to be able to show that. There will be a video of me like going through it and showing it. So I've been really having some difficulties with Seesaw here lately. The way it, when I make something, it's challenging. So for me to record I prefer live lessons too, because for me to record a lesson, it takes a crazy long time. But the other thing that I want to show you is I will put this in the Google Classroom. It's not, again, it's an optional thing. But there's a site where it's got all these different maps that you can take quizzes on and just kind of explore here. So this is North America. These are all these different things that you can do. So if you want to take a quiz on the Great Lakes, which Lake Superior is one of those lakes, it'll pop up with a map here. And it'll ask you, click on Lake Ontario. Oh goodness. And I don't know. I think that one's like, let's see. One of these is Erie. Is it this one? No, that one's the Erie. There's Lake Ontario. All right. So now it says click on Lake Superior. Which one looks like it's the largest?
The highest.
Oh, that's the tallest one. There it is. Now it says click on Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan. So if you get it incorrect, I mean, it'll just like Lake Huron and then Lake Erie. Ta-da! And it'll give you a score. So if you want to like, there's all kinds of maps that you can find, you know, if you want to search and look at countries, capitals, lakes, and then take these quizzes. So I'll put this up in the Google Classroom so you can just, it's something extra if you want to get on and practice, okay? Claire?
Okay. I have been to Lake Michigan.
Oh, nice. So I bet you guys have been to all kinds of cool, oh my goodness, Lewis. Really, Lewis? Yeah, I bet there's all kinds of really cool places in North America